Out onto the track here at Adria then go our seniors for what will be a 14-lap pre-final and what will determine the starting order for the final this afternoon here at the International Open in Italy. There's the grid on screen. This is how it shapes up. Pole position from Turkey, Berke Besler, number 233 with the Bouvon Power Team. Alongside him, it's the French driver, Adrien Renaudin for Kart Pro Racing in number 256. Row 2, fantastic weekend so far. One of the winners yesterday, Gary Donnelly, number 240, the Irish driver with Strawberry Racing. And then the Dutch driver, Luc Wilhelms, number 228 for Team TKP, lines up on the outside of row 2. Row 3, Rinus van Kalmthout, number 219 here with Dan's Racing. And Charlie Turner, number 315, the British driver, goes for Pro Train Racing. On row 4, Jack McCarthy, the reigning junior Euro Challenge champion and reigning junior British champion. He is 7th on the grid and has been really entertaining to watch so far this weekend with a couple of second place finishes yesterday. So 310 Jack McCarthy and Alessandro Trombelli, number 230, the Italian, share row 4. Row 5, we got the Indian driver, Ricky Donnison, who's also going really well in kart number 312. It's been impressive to watch on his international debut. Mauricio van der Laan was on pole position for the races yesterday after a super qualifying session on Friday. He was a little bit unlucky in some of the races. He's 10th on the grid. He could well move forward from there. So the Spaniard in kart 225 completes the top 10. Row 6 then, we've got Jakomati Paulin and Felix Kotiek. Row 7, Sam Smelt and Karol Dabski. Row 8, Denis Mavlanov. Watch for him as well, I reckon. And Josh White, likewise. Row 9, Julian Falciero and Jess Batman. Watch for Jess. She came through from the back of the heats yesterday very well. Row 10, Maxim Stotland and Glenn Van Paris. Row 11, Christian Kuja and Ruud Buitendick. Row 12, Stan Pex. He could come forward. He's been quick this weekend. And Shane Daly. Row 13, Tom Croydon and Jirko Patrick. Row 14, Artem Aristov and Michael Biffinger. Michel Biffinger. Row 15, Ricard Runnerhol and Salvatore Schreiler-Rede. Row 16, Stefano Levascont and Univaris. Row 17, Willem Tenexian. And this is the race now getting underway as they charge up towards turn 1 for the first time. And Adrien Renaudin's got the lead of the race. And there's a big pile up in the middle of the field. We've got 10 karts off at turn 1. It's the first time all weekend we've had a pile up at turn 1. The Berke Besler has tumbled down the order. Where's he ended up? He's nowhere near the front. Adrien Renaudin leads. Gary Donnelly is second. Rinus van Kalmthout is there in third place. It looks like Charlie Turner has come up to 4th place. 5th place is Jack McCarthy. There is Berke Besler, 6th. So he wasn't in the pile-up. The pile-up, I think, was just behind him. But he hasn't had a good start, Berke. Down to 6th place for the pole sitter. Bit reminiscent of what happened to the pole sitter in the juniors, this. So it's all changed today. There's some battered-looking karts going around at the back of the field after that big pile-up. 222, I can see, is one of them. That's Sam Smelt. He was right in the thick of that. 13th on the grid. It was right in the middle where that all happened. Over the line they go then at the end of the first lap of the race. And Adrien Renaudin is a second clear in the lead of the race. Gary Donnelly's there in second place. Rinus van Kalmthout is on his tail. And then a big gap back already to Charlie Turner in 4th place with then Berke Besler up to 5th. Berke's got back ahead of Jack McCarthy, who's in the 312 kart in 6th position. Somebody going around with a very noisy exhaust is probably going to get black flagged. Let's try and pick up the drivers that dropped to the back of the field. Oh, Jess Batman was one of them. Jess Batman at the back of the field has not come through. Sam Smelt has not come through. Shane Daly's at the back. Maxim Stotland's at the back. Karol Dabski, Jakomati Paulin, poor old Josh White down at the back of the field. Felix Kotiek's another one that got caught up in that. Denis Mavlanov, I think, got delayed in it as well. He's down in 23rd place, and there were 1 or 2 others. So a huge pile-up at turn 1. Most of them got going again, but it sort of destroyed their chances of a good grid spot for the final now. Now, Adrien Renaudin was leading by 0.9 seconds last time around. He's only leading by 0.5 seconds now. So the all-blue colour scheme of the French driver being reeled in by Gary Donnelly, who yesterday, once he'd settled into the races after the first couple of laps and was very smart in the way he drove through the first 2 laps, just not getting in trouble, he then really started to charge through and catch up people. And he's doing the same again today in second place. A bit further back, Charlie Turner just battling away. He's just slipped back down the order somewhat. He was 4th at the start of the lap. He now is in 6th place, I think. So Charlie Turner in the all-red colour scheme having a difficult lap this time around, but with lots of time to make up some positions. Through they go then, with now the gap down to 0.3 seconds. So 0.3 of a second now. Gary Donnelly closing in on the race leader. You can see that for yourself because he's almost with Renadan now. So the last couple of laps, Gary Donnelly in second place. His lap times comparing favourably with the race leader, which he's about to become, because Gary Donnelly slings one down the inside at turn 4 and gets the lead of the race. Second position now is Adrian Renadan. Rinus van Kalmthout is third. There's been another couple of karts making contact further down the field at turn 2. And at the head of the field, we got the top 3 together, and we've got fourth, Berke Besler, the pole sitter, catching them back up. Fifth is Ricky Donnison. He's making good progress. Sixth, Charlie Turner. Seventh, Mauricio van der Laan. Luke Willems is eighth. Trombelli's up to ninth. Jack McCarthy, I didn't see what happened to him, but he dropped back in the scramble 2 laps ago, but he started to catch them again in 10th place. Just out for a bit of fun this weekend, but he'll still want to win, knowing Jack, because he's such a quick, competitive driver. So Gary Donnelly leads the charge, looking to get pole position for the final later on. In second place, Renadan. In third now is Kalmthout, and fourth, the danger man in all of this, is Berke Besler. And Berke pulled off some really good overtaking yesterday. I think he and Gary Donnelly were probably the 2 best overtakers yesterday, and they're bookending this top 4 with, in between them, Adrian Renadan and Rinus van Kalmthout, second and third. And fifth place, Ricky Donnison is quick as well, you know, and he's got nobody in front of him to hold him up. So at the end of the next lap, I reckon we'll have 5 of them going for the lead of the race. Mauricio van der Laan has come up to 6th. Luke Willems has come up to 7th. They've both got ahead of Charlie Turner on the last lap. Through we go on to lap number 6 of 14. And Gary Donnelly, I'm afraid, he's now giving everybody a tow. That's the disadvantage of being the race leader. But he's very good on the brakes, he's Gary. And just smooth, metronomic. He's been driving flawlessly this weekend. He hasn't been twitching, he hasn't been going on the curbs too much. He's been nice and smooth and controlling things as Berke Besler launches one down the inside of Rinus van Kalmthout and goes third at the hairpin at turn 4. Through turn 5, the right-hander, and Ricky Donnison is almost with them now. A very impressive young Indian driver who's gone great guns this weekend. So we have got 5 of them together for the lead now, and then 6th, 7th trying to work together to catch them on Mauricio van der Laan. And in the blue colour scheme, we've got Luke Willems as well. So coming into turn number 10, the seniors, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all covered by about 1 second. Watch them whizzing under the bridge here on the start gantry. Gary Donnelly, having a good lap, has just edged away from Adrian Renadan. He's got himself a length and a half clear. So Adrian is not close enough to pick up a tow, and that's helpful for Gary as he goes into the second turn. The fastest lap of the race has gone to Denis Mavlenov as he tries to charge his way back through the field. He was 23rd about 3 laps ago. He's up to 15th place now. Going to be a change here for 4th place possibly. Rinus van Kalmthout was a bit wide, a bit scrubby coming out of turn 4. And it could be that Ricky Donnison gets past him. Yes, he does at the next corner. So Ricky Donnison goes up to 4th place now. And Rinus loses another position as well to Mauricio van der Laan, who gets up to 5th. So van Kalmthout, a bit tardy coming out of turn 4. Was off the road, and that cost him 2 places. And there you can see head down for Berke Besler, number 233, is ahead of Adrian Renadan now. While I was watching that, he's got through into 2nd place, Berke Besler, ahead of Adrian Renadan. So Besler now trying to catch up Gary Donnelly. Into the left-hander, there you go. The Strawberry Racing driver leads. The Move On Power driver in 2nd. And then Renadan for Kart Pro Racing in 3rd position. We're coming up to 2/3 distance at the end of the next lap. And we've got the top 3 covered by just about half a second. Ricky Donnison is in 4th. Mauricio van der Laan is 5th. Rinus van Kalmthout down to 6th, as I described. And then we've got Charlie Turner 7th. Alessandro Trombelli's up to 8th. Luke Willems 9th. Jack McCarthy in 10th place. Stan Peck's making good progress, as I thought he might. From 23rd, he's come up to 13th place in this race. The quick Dutch driver. Over the line go the top 2. And a 51.0 for the race leader, a 50.8 for Besler in 2nd place though, and he's right with Gary Donnelly now, so close enough to pick up the tow. That glues him onto the back and gets him through at turn 2. So Besler ahead now of Gary Donnelly. Crossed the line 2 tenths behind him, but then you pick up the tow and he's able to cruise past in between turns 1 and 2. But Besler will now be giving a tow to Gary Donnelly, and we've seen that. It's almost like watching, if you ever watch Caterham racing, it's a bit like this. Whoever's up front creates a big hole in the air and the others are able to slipstream past. So the race is not done yet. Besler hitting the front for the first time since the very start of the race. Down to second place, Gary Donnelly. But for how long? And Adrian Ranadan trying to hang on to them in third position. Ricky Donnison fourth, trying to catch them up as well. Through they go. And Gary Donnelly right onto the tail of Berke Besler. Glued to his rear bumper. Was much, much quicker and almost tapped the back of Berke Besler there, who was unsettled through first turn, but held the lead into turn 2. Gary Donnelly has been the master of the hairpin at turn 4. That's where he pulled a lot of moves off yesterday, but he's got to be careful, because if he goes for a move and has to back off out of it or get stuck on the outside line, he knows full well that Adrian Renadan is going to be in there with him. Now, Ricky Donnison, fourth place, is quicker than the top 3 by about 0.2 of a second a lap. He's catching them up, and Mauricio van der Laan is catching them up as well. I said to his dad this morning, if he could get through into the top 5, he's got a chance for a podium this afternoon, and it's not insurmountable, and that's what's happened. He's gone from 9th to 5th so far, and would be on the inside line for the start of the race this afternoon, the final. Now they're all bunching up, and Gary Donnelly goes for it into turn 2, into the lead. Adrian Renadan follows him. They're side by side as they come towards turn 3, but it's Donnelly, then Renadan, and then down to third, Berke Besler, and with them now is Ricky Donnison, and Ricky goes for it, looks up the inside, but backs off because Berke Besler knew what was coming. Now Berke goes on the attack at the next corner, runs alongside the rear wheels of Adrian Renadan, just clips him, gets a little tap from behind from Ricky Donnison, who tries to go around the outside of him as they're all weaving around. It's difficult for the driver behind to avoid contact sometimes because there's so many different changes of line. So only little taps, nothing too bad, and out of the turn 9 they come. But that has now allowed onto their tail Mauricio van der Laan in 5th place. So 3rd, 4th, 5th all together as they go on to lap number 12. Number 304 is getting a warning here. So 304, this is Christian Kuja, gets a warning. He's a bit further down the order, and he'll get a 5-second penalty as a result of that. And that probably dropping down quite a lot of places. So lap 12 of 14, Gary Donnelly leads, Adrian Renadan second, third now is Ricky Donnison, fourth Berke Besler, Mauricio van der Laan is with them in 5th, and Luke Wilhelms in the blue suit is coming after them as well and trying to get in the mix. Look at Luke Wilhelms, fantastic move. He's got 3 places between turns 4 and 5 there and just positioned himself in exactly the right spot. That was brilliant from Luke Wilhelms. He's gained 3 places, he's gone from 6th up to 3rd, and it took him about half a second to do it. So absolutely fantastic stuff from the race leader. Gary Donnelly 0.2 of a second clear. But Adrian Renadan closing on the way into turn 2. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th all together. Contact up at turn 2. One goes in the air, one spins off. Was that Van der Laan possibly that got caught up in that? The other one has spun, has dropped back. It was Van der Laan. He's dropped back out of the top 10. And the other one up at the turn 2, might be Van Kalmthout. We'll see when they come back around. But he's out of the race. Either way, it's going to be starting the pre-final from the very, very back of the field. So that's a real shame for him. Gary Donnelly and Adrian Renadan are away from all of this trouble. And still, it is Donnelly that leads the way and is about to start the last lap of the race. Adrian Renadan is with him in 2nd place as they go towards turn 2 now. They've got nearly 3 seconds advantage over Berke Besler in 3rd. Charlie Turner's come up to 4th place. 5th place, Jack McCarthy. He's gained a load of places in the last lap or so. Trombelli 6th, Mavlanov 7th. Stan Pex from 2/3 of the way down the field is up to 8th place. And Adrian Renadan closing on the race leader. Gary Donnelly goes into turn 5. He's just ahead as they go into the right-hander at turn 7. Adrian Renadan looks this way, looks that way, goes over the curbs, almost runs into the back of Gary Donnelly. Fantastic effort from Gary to keep him behind up at turn 9. And Gary was going to win this one now. He's about 2 lengths clear. So Gary Donnelly, with 1 corner to go, is going to win the race. Berke Besler is not that far behind them in the end, but the flag comes out. Gary Donnelly wins. He's going to be on pole position for the final this afternoon. Great drive by Gary. He deserved that one. He drove brilliantly. Adrian Renadan in 2nd place played his part in that race as well. Berke Besler with another battling performance. Well, if you can't finish first, you won't be too disappointed that it's third on the inside row for the final. So Donnelly, Renaudin and Besler, the top three. Charlie Turner comes home in fourth place. A good comeback from Charlie, who was down in sixth or seventh at one point. And Jack McCarthy just sliced through them when there was that contact up at turn 2 and came through to fifth place. Alessandro Trombelli for Italy in sixth. Denis Mavlanov for Russia came up the order. Don't forget, he was towards the back of the field. He was delayed in that big pile-up and down into about 23rd or 24th place. So he came through to finish 7th. Luke Vilhelms in 8th place. 9th place, great drive from the back from Stan Pex. And 10th place, Glenn Van Paris making up a lot of ground. Ricky Donnison was obviously one of the drivers that got caught up in that incident up at turn 2 with a couple of laps ago. So he dropped back to 11th place. Julian Falchero was 12th. Ruud Bindik in 13th. Mauricio van der Laan, we know, was delayed and right up in the air at one point. So 14th place, unfortunate for him after a good drive. Karol Dabski was 15th. Artem Aristov was 16th. Josh White 17th. Yakamati Paulin 18th. Jirko Patrick 19th. Felix Kotiek 20th. Shane Daly 21st. And then the rest of the runners, we look back, yeah, Rinus van Kalmthout, it was him. I thought it was that was out of the race up at turn 2. So he's going to be at the back of the field or near the back of the field, classified as 28th, with non-finishes for Michel Biffinger, Ricard Runnerhall, Salvatore Schreiler-Redi, Sam Smelt and Jess Batman, who were all out of the race early on, I'm afraid.